Pie's going to come from somewhere, right? It's not just pie from the sky.
The biggie.
Though I like that too.
All right. So I'm going to just quickly show a way to calculate pi. And the way we do it in Music Blocks is we first are just going to walk around a circle. We're just going to take steps and go step, turn, till we end up where we started. And that's going to calculate how many steps it takes to go around the circle. And then we're going to quarter way around the circle and figure out how far we've gone, and that'll be the radius. And pi is the circumference, how far we went around, divided by the radius times 2. So let's see what happens. So first, we're just going to go around in the circle, counting how many steps. How many steps does it take to go around in the circle? And round we go. And in this case, since we're taking these little steps and little turns, it took us 360. So now we're going to go 90 of those steps to figure out the radius of the circle. And we divide. And it's almost pi. It's 3.114. We calculate, each time we're calculating it a little bit more precisely. And eventually we'll get to a pretty accurate calculation of pi. Although we'll never finish, because you never finish eating pie. So anyway, you can see that as I keep on making a bigger and bigger circle, the measurement gets a little bit more accurate, and we eventually will get to 3.14519 on and on and on. I think Devin promised to memorize pi to 100 digits for today, so we can quiz him at the end. So anyway, so I'll just let this one more approximation finish, and then I want to show you something that we did that's a little bit musical with pi and something called Fibonacci numbers. So we're getting close. So I'm going to just load another project. And this one. So this one is calculating another mathematical number called Fibonacci number, Fibonacci sequence. And Fibonacci is basically, you start with 0, you add 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. Then you take the last two numbers, 1 and 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, 3 plus 5 is 8, etc., etc. So this takes that sequence and does something both graphically and musically with it. So hold on to your hats, here we go. So you can see the kind of a spiral that you see often in nature, whether it's inside of a sunflower or a nautilus shell. That's the Fibonacci sequence. And if you take any pair of Fibonacci numbers and put the larger the two over the smaller the two, that's an approximation of phi, which is a golden ratio, 1.6, on and on and on. So lots of connections between music, intervals, Fibonacci, pi to celebrate today. I want to just show one more project, which is a project from one of Devin's and my students. This student used a series of rhythms and also to generate a spiral. So here we go. So he's contrasting the rhythm with the beat and making something kind of fun. So this goes on forever, so we'll stop it here, and I will stop sharing my screen and hand it over to Devin.
Great. Thank you. Can you, now that you've presented a little bit, can you introduce yourself real quick?
Sure, yeah, okay. I'm Walter Bender. I'm one of the creators and maintainers of Music Blocks, and Devin and I teach Music Blocks all the time. And It's been a fun project. I'm learning a lot about music, and look forward to seeing what you do with music blocks.
Awesome. I just see that someone like registered like seconds ago. I gotta send them the link. Welcome to the Pi Day concert. Thank you so much for coming, for watching. It's March 14th, so 3.14, the first 3 digits of pi. Walter's already made some wonderful connections, between math and music and pi itself. Showed one student project. We have a student here, and she's going to show her project, actually 2 of her projects. So Suri, if you can unmute yourself and share your screen and tell us a little bit about yourself and your projects.
Okay. So I'm going to be showing a transcription of Kenton in Glossa and a project based off like the circle of fifths. This is basic. So I basically made like this sort of circle of fifths like thing, and I thought it looked like this one like piece by Takashi Murakami called Flowers. So yeah. So this is, yeah, that's the piece.
Great. And Suri takes guitar with me and music and code with me, and she takes art. And this is all through the MAP Family Learning Center, and MAP stands for Music, Art, and Programming. And she's able to play the circle fifths also on the guitar. So we played it on the guitar, and then we made this project. So that was fun. Does anyone have a question for Suri?
I would like to say it is absolutely beautiful. Well done. I really enjoyed that. I was muted and jamming along on my mandolin here, having a fun time trying to modulate and make all the key changes. So that's
Thank you.
good practice. And what a beautiful design it turned out to be. Very nice.
It's also it's nice because it's both expected and unexpected. I mean, you keep on getting surprised, but you also get some anticipation from the pattern. So, bravo.
Anything else?
I was just so surprised how it was a little bit of a coincidence that it looked like this Takashi flower, but Suri noticed that it looked like it, and especially for the first 8 iterations or so, it's pretty direct mapping. So that's kind of surprising.
Yeah.
And so what's the next project?
This is my transcription of Kenson in Glossa, and it's this piece by Emmanuel Adrianson. I don't know. And yeah, I basically just put it in music blocks. I just recreated it based off a music sheet for it.
Awesome.
Any comments or questions?
What was the name of this this song again? I'm sorry, this piece.
It's
Canson
canzone inglesa, like English song.
Ah, ironically, in not English. Awesome, beautiful.
Yeah, and this was also another piece that she was learning on guitar, and then, well, the other thing was an exercise, but and we were like, well, let's try transcribing it, and you can see the form, and this is one of the interesting things about music and programming. Can you show us like how you use the action blocks and how you reuse them to create musical form?
So wait, let me get the music sheet. Okay, so basically there was like a pattern in the music, and I saw that. So I basically like just alternated between them because they were alternating in the music, and I like split them where like the parts where like they sort of like, yeah, and
so all the
yeah.
A ones are the
Yeah.
same as each other, and all the B ones are the same,
Yeah.
and all the A2s are the same, and you didn't have to like, copy and paste all of those notes or, re-put them in. You could reuse them.
Yeah. These are like the lines. These are like the notes in it, and yeah. And I put and because like there were
There's like a first and second ending,
yeah,
I think
they
is
were,
what you're saying.
No, there was like basically B3 repeated, but like there was an A between them, but like they were like different types of notes. So this one was a half note, while this one was a quarter note. So I had to so I just added them here instead of just making two action blocks, since it'd be just easier.
Yeah. Awesome, bravo.
One tiny suggestion: if you move your mouse over so they're not on top of each other, when you play, you'll see both the mice keeping their rhythm, and it's just fun to see it. So if you drag one of the mice over a little bit,
Yeah, there.
like that, now you'll see them both moving when you play. So
Yeah, I forget that little trick all the time.
yeah.
though I did remember it for the the big band piece.
Yeah, good.
So I'll show that little trick at the end. Awesome, that's really great. Thank you so much, Suri.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give Suri another round of applause.
I'm doing my visual applause here. Works well with cameras.
Awesome. Great. So now we've got our main performer for the day, Rob Flax.
Well, that's me.
He's got a lot of fun, math-related music based on mathematical ideas, based on math itself. And then he asked for a challenge because we had a challenge at the previous concert, and Rob seems like he always likes a challenge. And so we're going to save that. Are we saving that for the end?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems like the
Good
challenge.
finale. My challenge
Yeah.
in the meantime is not enough caffeine in my system because we've sprung forward, which makes things slightly discombobulated. But fear not, I have an entire thermos ready
Yeah,
to go.
well, while you're having a drink of coffee, just a reminder, we're doing this concert series for creating these Music+Code videos. So for everyone who's paid for a supporter ticket, thank you so much. For anyone who went onto the campaign page and supported, thank you so much. And if you just help spread the word, thank you so much. Our goal is to, Walter and I create the program, create music blocks, what you saw at the very beginning, but also, find a way to really bring music teachers into the fold where they can find, teaching, music blocks to be accessible. And so our goal is to hire music instructors to, and teaching artists to create videos based on our different lesson plans. And later that can be something that a student watches to get, the gist of the lesson plan. Teacher watches, same thing, to get the gist, and also make it more three-dimensional. So not just, reading through, which is also important, but also hearing it, hearing what it sounds like on an instrument, hearing an expert talk about it, storytelling. And that being said, the end of this campaign was supposed to be this month. Our goal was 50 videos. We're not there yet. So we're going to extend it. We're going to extend the overall campaign, but that's okay because, really the journey is a lot of fun, and today's part of the journey. And we really enjoy, bringing people like, great, talented musicians, talented as in skilled.
Thank you for that clarifying point, Devin. I so appreciate that.
And having, really put in the time and effort. But, like Rob Flax.
Oh, thank you.
And, so whenever you're ready, just take it away.
I am ready. I'm fully caffeinated now. Those couple of seconds gave me the difference. So, hello, everybody. Thank you, Devin, for the warm introduction. Thank you to Suri for the wonderful performance. Thank you to Walter for sharing. Thank you all for having me. My name is Rob Flax. I play things with strings. I hit stuff, and I sing. That's what I tell people I do. And I'm delighted to share this celebratory occasion with you. I'm such a huge fan of Pi Day. I was showing on my Instagram the other day, I actually still have this poster from almost 10 years ago. This was a concert that Devin and I put together in the MIE department at NEC, and you can see that. And his wife Chia did the artwork for it, and you can see there were all sorts of wonderful things. Devin did a performance with some oobleck on a speaker, which was surreal and wonderful. But I have a math degree in addition to my music training, and as you can see from behind me, I'm a chess enthusiast. I just love patterns, and wanted to start my musical numbers with a a celebration and a cover song, if you will. I'm going to pay homage to one of my favorite songwriters, who also happens to be a fantastic mathematician, and that is the great Tom Lehrer. He just recently made all of his materials public domain, so anyone can sing and perform it at their leisure. What a hero in that sense too, and just brilliant satirist. So I'm going to start by performing one of his songs. This is called That's Mathematics. Counting sheep when you're trying to sleep, being fair when there's something to share, being neat when you're folding a sheet. That's mathematics. When a ball bounces off of a wall, when you cook from the recipe book, when you know how much money you owe. That's mathematics. How much gold can you hold in an elephant's ear? When it's noon on the moon, then what time is it here? If you could count for a year, would you get to infinity or somewhere in that vicinity? When you choose how much postage to use, when you know what's the chance it will snow, when you bet and you end up in debt, try as you may, you just can't get away from mathematics. Andrew Wiles gently smiled, does his thing, and voila, QED, we agree, and we all shout hurrah, as he confirms what Fermat jotted down in that margin, but could have used some enlarging. Tap your feet when you're keeping time to a beat of a song, while you're singing along, harmonized with the rest of the guys and gals and non-binary folks. Yes, try as you may, you just can't get away from mathematics. Oh, such a wonderful song. I love it very much. I tweaked the ending a little bit there. By the way, that Andrew Wiles verse was actually added much later. For those of you who haven't been following the math news of the last several decades, that is from Fermat's last theorem, which was a wonderfully simple challenge that was posed by the mathematician Louis de Fermat. But it was he kind of wrote it down as an afterthought of, I have a proof to this, but it's too big to fit in the margins of this notebook. So they found the notebook after he died, and it took 250 years to prove it. Andrew Wiles is the mathematician who did it. His proof was like 500 pages long or something absurd, and used elliptical integrals and other math that hadn't been invented yet. But nonetheless, very good stuff. So I thought I would do the latest iteration of Lehrer's work and add that extra verse. It's a lovely thing to celebrate. So going from that into some music that I have written, and if I might, I suppose I don't need to share my screen to show this. I will show it very briefly, though. I want to show let's see here, share your screen, share a Chrome tab, and I will share this one. So last time I played a little number called the Fractal Hornpipe. That's this one here. And this is a fiddle tune that I wrote, where the entire tune is actually a fractal. So what does that mean? Well, fractal is something that is self-similar, as in when you zoom all the way in, it looks the same as it did at the outer scale of zoom. That's not the super mathematical way of defining a fractal. Technically, it's the graph produced by a recursive complex function, but it's the pretty shiny psychedelic looking math thing for most people in common parlance. And the interesting bit about it is it's kind of rough around the edges, and there's not an easy way to compress it, but you zoom in and it has some of the same properties. So this first measure of this right? D, F sharp, A, G, F sharp, E, shows up on a bunch of different scale lengths. So there's D, F sharp, A, G, F sharp, E. Shows up on the first 4 measures. It also shows up over the whole tune. Da, da, da. There it is. There it is. My mouse skills are bad. Clicking is fun. Okay, so it ends up being a full tune. Well, since our last gathering, I have written 3 more Fractal fiddle tunes. There's Fractal 2, Electric Boogaloo, because I needed a name for the sequel, and that was all I could think of. Let me unshare my screen and come back. Hi again. Fractal 2, Electric Boogaloo. And then I wrote a third one, and I thought I would call it Deep Fakes Real, because, it's an algorithmically generated fiddle tune. It sounds kind of like a traditional fiddle tune, but, for those of you familiar with deep fakes, that's like something that's sort of surprisingly realistic, even though computers made it. And then the fourth one I'm calling Fractal. And I intend to explain more about it all the way down. That Fractal one is particularly interesting, but of course I have put all of them together into a set of tunes that I play one after the other. And I came up with an arrangement of them where I'm going to go from Fractal into the Fractal hornpipe, into Fractal 2 Electric Boogaloo, and then end with Deep Fake Real. And I tried it out this morning and arranged them on a piece of paper, and I may have to do one quick scroll in real time because I don't have it memorized in this order, so I hope you'll forgive some technical difficulties there. We're all about growth and learning in real time. But of course, I have a set of fiddle tunes that are based on fractals, and I wrote some of them on a mandolin, so I'm going to call this the Mandelbrot set. So here goes. Here's my Mandelbrot set. First of all, let's get a nice drone going. Don't need that yet, though. It's just fun to have handy. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one. troubleshoot. uh, oh man, the sheet music got all messed up. Here it is again. Sorry, I'll play it with the other tab open. It chopped off half the notes. Woo! Thank you very much. I have to fix my sheet music and should have prepared more. But that is the Mandelbrot set, and I'm pretty pleased at how that order of it worked out. It's a good set of tunes. Oh, thank you so much. I'm not sure why my audio seems to be clipping on my end. No matter how quietly I turn it down on my input audio, it still gets a little clippy.
Seems good on this end.
Oh, good. Okay, so as long as it's just in my headphones, then I can deal with that, and it's coming through beautifully to the other side. Yay! I still have to debug that, but anybody here knows that debugging is part of the process. So,
Yeah.
so that's the Mandelbrot set. I will have sheet music available for all 4 of those tunes, as well as the complete thing. That's probably going to go up on my Patreon page soon. Thank you also to Remake Music LLC, who is one of my top Patreon supporters. I really appreciate you guys helping my continued art making. So thank you for that, and I'm delighted to be here celebrating Pi Day with you. Okay, next up, I've got a couple more things. I want to revisit now a song that I wrote a long time ago. This is actually from this very concert that I did with Devin back in, I think it was 2012. Is that right? Our second year.
That sounds
Masters.
about right.
Yeah. So it would have been Pi Day 2012. This is exactly 9 years ago today was the premiere, and I think I've only performed it one time since. So this is the I've rearranged it now for my home studio setup because I found this wonderful sort of synth bass sound. Can you hear this? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. So I wrote a song called Wondrous Numbers, and it's inspired by the Collat's conjecture, sometimes called the 3x plus 1 problem. Here is a little mini version of this because it is my favorite unsolved math mystery. I really like that this is so simple to understand, and yet we still don't know the answer. You take a number and you do a thing to it. We'll call that a function, recursive function, because you take the output of that function and you do that thing to it again. The thing is, well, it depends on if the number is odd or even. If it's even, divide it by 2. If it's odd, multiply that number by 3 and add 1. So, let's do an example. Somebody please type in the chat a small number. Would be great to have a small one because this gets pretty chaotic pretty quickly, and I don't actually know all of these off. Okay, 2. There's a good one. Okay, 2 and then 8. We'll do both of those. So 2 is even, so we divide it by 2, and you get 1. Something interesting happens when we get to 1. We multiply 1, which is odd, by 3, and then add 1 to it. Well, 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So our new number is 4. Okay, we put it back in. 4 is even, so we divide by 2. Well, that's 2. And we actually already know what happens. Then you go to 1, and then 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1. You get stuck in this loop. Okay, Suri has typed 8. Well, 8 is even, so we divide it by 2, and we get 4. Oh, that's the loop we just did. Okay, so that makes sense. Give me one more, just for giggles. Okay, 7. 7 is odd. 7 is odd, which means we're going to multiply by 3 and add 1, which is 21 plus 1 is 22. 22 is even, so we divide by 2 and get 11. 11 is odd, so we multiply by 3 and add 1, and we get 34, which is even, so we divide by 2 and get 17. And then we multiply that by 3 and add 1, and we get 52, which we divide by 2 and we get 26, which was even, so we can divide that by 2 and get 13. 13 we can multiply by 3 and add 1, and we get 40, which is even, so we divide to 20, which goes down to 10, which goes down to 5. Aha, we're making progress. Or are we? Yes, because 5 times 3 plus 1 is 16, and that's a power of 2. It's just going to fall right down. 16 divided by 2 is 8, which we already know is going to go down to 4, go down to 2, go down to 1, go up to 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1. The question is, does this work for every single number? Will it always eventually fall down to 1? And we don't know. We don't know. It's unsolved. We've tested it and proved it's true for the first billion numbers. But maybe there's one that's way up there in the cloud somewhere that somehow gets stuck in some other loop. Or one that for some reason has some property that it just explodes out to infinity and never comes back down again. But we don't know. There's no way to prove it so far. It's unsolved. It's been unsolved for 50 plus years. The great mathematician Paul Erdős, who is one of my heroes, once said, mathematics is not yet ready to solve these types of problems. We have so much more to do. But in the meantime, I can take the syllables that that sequence generates and use them to write lyrics. So, for example, loop, never-ending, wondrous loop, never-ending, wondrous loop, never-ending, wondrous loop. Try to start anew. We know what 5 goes to. It's 16, right? Isn't there something beautiful about the inevitable? Always falling back into a never-ending, wondrous loop. We before. That's 6, by the way. Which we divide by 2 and get. Haven't we? Though we pretend this time it's different. That should be 10. Try to start anew. Isn't there something beautiful about the inevitable? Always falling back into a never-ending wondrous loop. I see where this is going. At least that's what I told myself the last time we found ourselves in this situation. These misunderstandings must be sorted out. You understand me perfectly. I understand you perfectly. Why is it that whenever we get together, we always seem to explode? It's not that I'm not listening to you. I just like to talk a lot. Late at night, the neighbors will hear. I huddle in the corner, covered in tears and clutching my knees. Half the man I used to be. Tonight we tore the kitchen to pieces. The plates have exploded all over the room. Tomorrow we will regret all of it. All the wasted energy. This is our life whenever we're tired. Suppose we try another tack now and get some sleep. We will go back to work, buy new sets of china, and clean up the scrapes on us. Only the other tenants will know that anything is wrong. Only us and them. Some months will go by if we're lucky, and we will say it's fine. always the same. Though we pretend this time it's different. Try to start anew. Try to start anew. Isn't there something beautiful about the inevitable? Thank you. Woo! Ooh, such a spooky song. Oh,
I have a question.
yes.
What's the highest number you get to? I lose count of all the syllables. And you turned the captions off at some point where you were like, this is 4, this is 2,
Yeah.
this is 1. Yeah.
So I will show you. Here's the lyrics. I happen to have them on screen because I wrote this 10 years ago, so I needed to look at them. Here it is. So it's this one, right? Never-ending wondrous loop. Try to start anew is a new input, and that generates 168,421. We have been here before is 6. Haven't we is 3. Though we so 3 goes up to 10, and I skipped I don't think I even wrote down the try to start anew there, my shorthand. Then we get into 7. So incidentally, that example was exactly what happened. We got all the way up to 52, and then went all the way down to 26, 13, 40, 20, 10, 5, 16, and then ending there before the 421 because you've already heard it, so it's kind of, not necessary. So yeah, that's
Wow.
Wondrous Numbers, and at some point I should properly do a recording of it. I was really delighted to learn that this drone happened to be F sharp. Fun story about this sound. I've had this synthesizer for a few months now and made this patch and forgot how I made it. Turns out that ding 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 is actually a Karplus strong effect where a delay time is very short and it's getting a very high amount of feedback and it makes its own note. So the delay engine in this pretty much always makes an F sharp when you crank the knob all the way to the minimum delay time and maximum feedback. And that's conveniently the pitch that I needed for this song, so I think it's meant to be, and at some point I have to record it with this, what Devin described in our sound check as sort of a Pink Floydian thing. Oh yes, thank you, Walter, for dropping the recursive function in the chat. Yes, yeah, it is a heartbreaking song. That's right, Lindsay. But the good news is that's a theoretical construct that I wrote just following the narrative, so not inspired by true events. I don't have tenants, neighbors breaking plates. This is not a real story. That is fiction, thank goodness. But I hope it made you feel some things, and if you did, then I'm sending virtual hugs through the internet. Okay, I have one more song I'd like to share before we do our big Pisano finale. And this one I need some input from you again. Please give me your favorite number between 1 and 65,536. All right, 395. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This is kind of blowing my mind that this works. I'm going to open up a thing that is a decimal to binary converter. And we're going to give that number 395. We're going to hit convert. Now we have a binary number that's all ones and zeros. Let's see here. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? That's a 9-digit number. If it were a larger one, I could use this, but I don't really want to have 8 beats of rest. I think I'm going to just make something in 9. So we have 1 1 0 0 0 1 0 1 1. So I'm going to loop that without the reverb. So let's give it a little beef. Okay. Let's see here. So we have. Let's see if I can do this. That's nice. I don't know why this turned out to be in C sharp, but I forgot I was still sharing my screen. You can see me again. So now I've got that in the can. This is my jam for $3.95. Actually, let's get a little funky with it, shall we? I'm going to mute my room mic so you can't hear the violin. You'll just hear the electric sound. Yeah. Happy Pi Day to you and all of your friends. I hope your day is transcendental, and like the digits, it never ends. The celebration, that is. I hope you have a lovely time springing forward today. Yeah. And if you have to go in circles on something, that's okay. In fact, it's even desirable. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Let's do a little chorus now. It's Now, how about a little bit of shred rock solo? Thank you very much. That is Rondo alla Turca by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I'm just kidding.
That was the last thing I was expecting.
I like to mix things up. Oh, 9 is I need to work on my slow 9s is what I've learned from that. Oh boy, hard to keep track of how many beats have gone by. Usually I just keep it in 16, and that's a very comfortable subdividable thing, but sometimes music is irrational. Let's see what I did there. All right, Devin, I think we bring it home. Shall we celebrate with our grand finale?
Yes, let's. So Rob gave me a challenge, gave ourselves a challenge. So it started with what you saw Walter demonstrate at the beginning of this. We printed out, the music, like kind of the sheet music for it, and then Rob, you came up with, you did a mod 8 on the rhythm.
Right. Yes. So, brief disclaimer in terms of the Fibonacci thing that Walter was explaining earlier. If you make the next number in the sequence by adding the previous two together, every single one of them is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So how do you, if you're turning those into music, how does it not just go like, eventually it just gets way too high and is a little over the top. So we divided it by 12 and just took the remainder. Sometimes people call this clock math or modular arithmetic. So this is the Fibonacci's modulo 12. And what's interesting and surprising about that is that it has a periodicity. It repeats every 24 numbers. It goes back to 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, which is, I guess it makes sense. There's going to be a finite number of things, but today is Pi Day, so wacky things and unpredictable numbers is kind of par for the course. But then I thought, why not also use mod 8 so that every rhythm could be derived by the Fibonacci sequence too? So the piece that we came up with is kind of a very syncopated, slightly jazzy thing where the notes are generated by the Fibonacci's mod 12 and the rhythms are generated by the Fibonacci's mod 8. This, by the way, the whole any Fibonacci's mod anything is sometimes called the Pisano period, named after, of course, Leonardo da Pisa, who is actually, that's Fibonacci. So I don't know why he gets two names, but it's convenient because we can name it a second thing. So Pisano is the
It
name.
also gives us 3 syllables for this for the title, which is Big Bando Pisano. Because it just, when we got done with it, it sounded like a big band piece. I didn't take some artistic liberty with it. But let's try it. Let's see what happens, I guess.
Yes.
I didn't have time to put any art on there yet.
Sounds good to me. So I'm going to try and play along in real time. I've got the sheet music on my page here, and here's hoping that the latency isn't bad. If it sounds like it's syncopated and a little off, it's not because I'm under-rehearsed, it's the latency. Yeah, that's the ticket.
So you're reading this lead sheet right here, right?
Which one? Hang on, let me pull up in the...
No,
yeah. Yes, those colorful music blocks. By the way, for anybody who's tuning in and is not familiar, I know Walter and Devin have been immersed in this for so long, but it's pretty amazing, this thing that they built, and that Suri, a student presenter, showed a hint of what's possible earlier. But this colorful ecosystem is music blocks, and it's a wonderful way to combine all these disciplines all at once. It's using computer coding language, and it's a very easy way to sort of play with and toy around with coding and see what happens. And so this code will compile and generate sounds, and I'm going to play along. Here we go.
Okay, here it goes.
Hit it. Woo! That's right. I still got to work on that breakdown section, but good rehearsal. Mr. Mouse, you're hired. You're in the band. Wow!
Awesome, good job.
Oh my gosh! Paisano, yes! Ah! Oh, why didn't we think of that earlier? Bravo, Walter. Ah, that's fabulous. Wow. Okay. I wanted to make one more small announcement, which is an announcement about an announcement that I haven't announced. That is to say, there's always some mystery on Pi Day, and it happens to be just a few weeks before my birthday. My birthday is Saturday, April 3rd, and I will be making a really exciting announcement to the universe and anyone who will listen on my birthday, but not before it. So if you would like to hear that announcement, please follow me on all the places. You can tune into my social media channels. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, I'm on patreon.com. You can sign up for my mailing list. I'll be sending out an email blast. So if you'd like to find out the big exciting thing, which I'm not going to tell you yet, that's going to happen Saturday, April 3rd. So help me celebrate and keep in touch. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in. And I look forward to making more math and music and adventures. Koji ad! Woohoo!
Yay! So if anyone wants to unmute themselves, give them Rob a round of applause.
Yay!
Thank you so much. And Devin, is this is being streamed to YouTube right now, live as well?
Yeah, it's still being streamed right now. I do want to announce one more thing before I cut it off, and then we can have like a short little after party, if you will.
How can people find that stream, by the way? What's the best way to find it?
Well, if you registered, you received the link, but I'll put it here.
Oh, great.
Then now you can copy that and share that.
Excellent. I had some folks who registered and wanted to attend, but couldn't make it. So
yeah. So it is public right now, so you can see it. And then when it's done, it's going to be recorded. And that's
fabulous.
One of the great things about this system. Unfortunately, like the first concert, I was only able to record some of it because I was trying to record on my computer, and there's only so much memory I could use. But the announcement is, so our next concert in the series is going to be on April 11th, which is 4/11, and we're playing with numbers again. But these folks have made an instrument it's a guitar with it's 41 divisions of the octave, 41 equal divisions. And they did something clever because that would make a lot of frets. They did every other fret, and then if you can imagine, the octave is at like 20.5, right? So you wouldn't actually have a fret on the octave. So you kind of have this like odds evens thing, and so they tuned one of the strings to the odds and then the other to the evens, and it just so happens that maps pretty well onto just intonation. So it's called the Kite Guitar because the person who kind of put all the pieces together, his first name's Kite. I won't even try to pronounce his last name. You can find him at tallkite.com, TALLKITE.com. He's an amazing musician, but I would also call it the harmony guitar or the barbershop guitar because, the one thing about just intonation is harmony sounds great. Barbershop, is harmony. So they're doing some really amazing things. And they just gave me a +1. So they're going to do some performances kind of like this, so you get to see the instrument, but you also get to hear it. Aaron Wolf is going to be doing some performances. A person who goes by Timmy, I don't know his last name yet, his or her. So it should be a really exciting event, and we'll try to get some Music+ projects ready for that as well. It's been... You can do temperament with Music+, but it's been testing the limits, that's for sure. So
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
And where can people get the 411 on this 411 concert?
You can always go to mapflc.com, and if you sign up for the newsletter, then you will get notifications in your inbox. We are also on Facebook, Map Family. I gotta look for it. So it's, Map Family. Facebook.com/Map Family. Twitter, it's the same handle there. So, so you can go those places to get the 411 on this. But it's really fascinating. Oh my gosh, it's been blowing my mind. So, I hope if you're watching this, you can make it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Devin and Walter and Suri and everybody for attending. Yay.
Okay, I'm going to end the live stream, but we can keep talking.
Sounds good.
End. There we go.
So I was just waving.